welcome to my YouTube channel, Ofentsereitumetsetladi. My name is ofentsereitumetsetladi and I am a storyteller. So here's to my very first video on this channel or whatnot. Today we're going to talk about the literary event that is happening at AFDA. So AFDA is just like an institution for creatives, more specifically storytelling creatives, whether you want to be a director, cinematographer, producer, actor, and there's a space for writers as well. So I'm really just going to be going into firstly the story that I'm working on for my literary event, and how it's going to be, what's going to happen. So the first thing that I want to kind of like just put there is that because this is a student type event at an institution, college, university, whatever you want to call AFDA, it's going to be very different to your normal literary events. So this literary event, right? Okay, let me just explain everything. So on the 16th of June, AFDA is hosting, students of AFDA are hosting an experimental event, right? So what this means is that, okay, so film students will obviously be selling tickets for their films. Live performance students will be acting, business or BCom students will be selling or whatnot. And as writers, we will be hosting our very first literary event. All right, so this specifically now talking about writing. This literary event is going to be solely based on the concepts that we're writing for our graduation, right? Graduation that's coming soon. So yeah, we're writing graduation concepts, so like kind of like our last or second batch of scripts or stories before we then close the chapter and graduate, right? So 16th of June, that's when the experimental festival is, and within this experimental festival is the writers literary event. So I'll just put in the AFDA address here. And then, so how is this literary event going to be different? I explained that, what is happening there. So with the writers for our literary event, right, we picked the theme of alienation, right? So alienation being that feeling of isolation and like pushed afar, like just being alone. And so we picked this theme because we feel as though within all our stories there are characters that feel a sense of isolation or that feel alienated for whatever reason. So there's two things that you guys need to be aware of. So we're going to be having our store at AFDA. So this would really how do I put it in a way that doesn't tell too much but kind of excites you. So this store will be, with the set design, it will be taking the theme of alienation literally. So you have to come to experience that. I can't share too much. And then there's going to be stage readings also happening. This is where then people really get to engage with our concept. So they join a space and we sit and we really read a story. It could be a short story, a screenplay, a stage play. So I specifically picked a stage play, and it's a 30-minute stage play, and it's about hair. So Woolen a Sponge stage play, written by me, was very inspired by Zulaikha Patel. So everybody knows the whole Pretoria High School for Girls incident, right? And how the hair activist Zulaikha actually stood up against the hair policies embedded in the school. It's obviously changed now and everything. And she's the one that actually forced them to change these hair policies, right? And I feel like that's like where the story, what influences the story the most. So this is a stage play set within a private high school, and it's basically about, so the main character, Nomtle's teacher, when Nomtle's teacher, comments on students' hair, it raises questions around hair policies within the school and poses a question of who is right and wrong. So I specifically chose to write this story because because of experience. Not that I, experienced hair discrimination at first hand, but I remember when I was in high school, and I think it was the beginning of the year. Can't remember if it was grade 11 or 12, probably 12 though. But we were sitting in kind of like the teacher's staff room or whatever you want to call it, and they were basically just giving us the code of conduct. We had to read it, sign it, whatnot. And I remember there was a part, okay, we spoke. They will talk about hair, right? And how your hair should be on school grounds, what no colorful hair and whatnot, like the normal stuff. Well, is it actually a normal? I get, but there was a rule that was like girls can't cut the hair, like shave off all the hair, like cheesecop shave, right? And also by that time, things probably changed by now, I don't know. By that time, boys weren't allowed to braid their hair, so do cornrows. Or there was a time where it was like not allowed, or they were iffy about it, like cornrows, dread, stuff like that. All right. And with the specific rule, when I was in that meeting with, like, because it was like all of us grade 12s and teachers there was that thing of, okay, girls can't cut their hair like completely. And I was confused because I was like, why? Not that I wanted to shave to cut my hair, but I was just wondering, why? Like, what's, because with the dye thing, it's the thing of, no, whatever, it's not gonna look good on your school uniform or something about that. But with like shaving my hair, like just completely, I did not understand why that wasn't allowed. And I actually lifted up my hands. And it wasn't like in a kind of like rebellious way, like, oh, now I'm gonna cut my hair. No, I was just wondering. I was like, okay, why can't girls cut their hair like cheesecop? You know what I mean? And the teacher actually said she doesn't know. She said she does not know. And she genuinely did not know. So it was a rule that, or whatever, on the code of conduct. And no one could like give reasoning behind it, because me shaving my hair in a schooling environment does not stop me from learning or whatnot. Like, what's different between a guy shaving their hair, which is neat, and me doing the same thing? And like within that time, I really just started like wondering about or thinking about hair policies in general, specifically the ones that were in front of us. And I was like, something is not making sense. And I remember I felt like I was the odd one out, because no one was like no one else was questioning that thing. Everybody was just like, oh, okay. But for me, it was the specific one of like shaving the head. Why is it that a boy can do that but I can't? And why is it that, like, I started wondering, and why is it that I or a girl can do like dreads or whatever but a boy can't? You know what I mean? Or cornrows. But like, how does that physically like stop us from learning or whatnot? Colorful hair, that we can accept, because maybe, I don't know, that one makes more sense, I don't know. But when it comes to just like hairstyles, you know what I mean? I just didn't understand the whole thing behind it. Why can't I shave? And also within that time, I can't remember if it was within that specific time or like later on after we had signed the code of conduct and whatnot, but someone mentioned, and this is I could be wrong, but I actually did like search about this, right? But someone mentioned that in the Ndebele culture, I'm not Ndebele, right? But within the Ndebele culture, as a daughter, if your dad passes away, you have to like shave your hair. So then I was like, so let's say we have in Ndebele a girl in our school, and that happens. So will she now not shave her hair? Like, what route does she go with? And what if the family is really like traditional? Because I know my family is not traditional, and if we were in Ndebele, my mom wouldn't really care about shaving hair or what because of culture. But I'm now speaking about a traditional Ndebele family, and the father passes away, and the daughter now has to shave the hair like bald completely. Now, what happens between following schools and culture? And how does that specific traditional family then move around that? Like, what must now happen? You know what I mean? And I just really, and I've been thinking about, ever since that incident, I never let that incident go because it was very, but ever since that incident, I was just thinking about hair policies in general. And even when I was interviewing people for this concept, right? Because I drafted up a few questions about hair, and I was interviewing different people, not just like black people, like different kinds of people, ages, right? And one thing that I picked up with the answers for the interviews is that a lot of people, hair forms part of their identity, right? It forms part of who people are. And someone mentioned that like when they change hairstyles, it's kind of like they're evolving, something around those lines, evolving as people based on the hairstyle. So hair has a lot of sense of like identity, right? So I was wondering, like, I was just thinking the whole time, I'm like, there must be something fishy about these hair policies. There must be something fishy. And that's why I started this concept, Wool and a Sponge. At first it was called the Black and White Wars. But after having our first readings with like a lecturer and other life performance students, I was giving a lot of feedback, which I'm so grateful for today. And yeah, now I'm like reworking the concept based on the feedback, and I've decided to actually title Wool and a Sponge stage play. My lecturer, Malcolm Perky, is actually the one that suggested this name, Wool and a Sponge stage play. And the reason why I know that name is like weird, but the reason why it's Wool and a Sponge stage play is simply because of the comment that the teacher says to the students, right? Well, specifically the sponge part, because I'm trying to explain the sponge part, where the teacher, and I'm just going to reveal this, but the teacher says that she likes hair silky and not spongy, and that's where kind of like the central conflict of the play drives from, what she said, and how that impacts each of the characters. And so we're setting the school, this private white-owned high school, right? And our main character, we have Nomhle, a black girl. Actually, I actually see myself in her, like, you know what I mean? When I was creating her, I was thinking about me. But Nomhle, black girl, Afro. So she actually wants to relax her hair. Nomhle, the character, she wants to relax her hair because she's tired of maintaining it and whatnot. So this character's flaw is actually the fact that she doesn't love her hair for what and how it is. So she's constantly trying to change it, right? She doesn't love it the way it is, right? And we have Nomhle's mother, Nomthandazo, obviously black woman, and she is bald-headed, so she shaved her hair. And she didn't actually shave it because she wanted to. She actually lost her hair. So when she was like growing up, she had a very great relationship with her hair and it was going well until she relaxed it, and that kind of damaged her hair. So the mother actually grieves for her lost / damaged hair, right? And the conflict then comes in with her trying to relive her like hair journey through her daughter. So because she made that mistake with her hair and she lost it and is currently like grieving the lost hair, she doesn't want her daughter to make the same mistakes, which is relaxing her hair, right? But she doesn't exactly share with the daughter what happened to her or how she lost the hair. She kind of like makes it a thing of, no, you have to like be African and just love your hair and whatnot. And this actually doesn't work for the daughter because she feels as though she wants to relax her hair and she's tired of her mother always trying to dictate what happens with her, like her own hair. Like she wants to be able to decide what to do with her hair, right? So we have this mother and daughter relationship that I really think black women or just black kids in general can relate to, because we all have a memory of our mothers doing our hair. Now, specifically for me, I remember my mother doing my hair in primary, Benny and Betty, whoa, right? And that actually made my hair grow. But I remember that those images and how tight the hair was, and I was like, oh, ndo is like hurting my hair. You know what I mean? And so this is basically the mother and daughter relationship. This mother doesn't want her daughter to relax her hair, doesn't want her daughter to make the same mistakes she did and grieve like she's currently grieving. But the daughter doesn't understand that. The daughter's just like, no, it's getting my mind. Like, I'm tired. Full stop. I'm tired of you always doing this Benny and Betty. I want to relax my hair so I don't deal with the difficulty that comes with it. Like, and so the racist comment of liking hair silky and not spongy that the teacher makes actually doesn't hurt or have any kind of like negative impact. She just sees it as, oh no, it's her preference, right? She just sees it, oh no, it's her preference. Why? Because she is just in that mindset of she wants to change her hair. She doesn't even like see or really think about the racism that came with that comment of liking hair silky and not spongy. So that is our main character, you know, because she's kind of like an this one I was struggling with, but she is an anti-hero. She is an anti-hero because throughout the play she has a moral descending character arc. I'm not going to reveal what happens at the end, but she does have a moral descending character arc where we can relate to her being tired of the hair, but it's like her actually getting to that point, can't reveal it, makes it kind of like hard to see her as a protagonist, right? If you just come to the stage reading, you'll understand what I mean by this. But yeah, that's Nomhle and Nomthandazo and Miss Peterson, which is her teacher. And then we have 2 other female characters and 3 male characters. So I wanted to include the male characters because I really feel like the experience boys also have with their hair is important in the story. Also from high school, you know, in high school boys were never really like the type to kind of like fight against these hair policies or kind of like question. They just knew, okay, we can't do cornrows, I'll just do cornrows or whatever hairstyle during the holiday, and then when school opens I'm back to the neat hairstyle that they want us to do, right? So when I was interviewing boys in general, okay, not all of them, but what I noticed is that for women, hair's tied with beauty, right? And for men, most men don't have that kind of attachment to their hair. Not all, but most men don't have that kind of attachment to their hair where they think of it as beauty, you know? I remember one guy I interviewed, he said it's more of an aesthetic, because I asked, you know, do you see your hair as something that forms part of your identity? And he's like, no, he just thinks that it's an aesthetic that goes with how he dresses, right? And also in school, when these hair policies or whatnot were shared, boys were never really wants to be like, oh, but why? We're just like, dude, it's whatever. I'll do this hairstyle during holidays, and then when I come back to school, it's the normal like hairstyle, right? And I like with the characters within the male characters within the play, they're exactly like this. We have this 3 girls that are extremely attached to their hair, right? And are kind of like always the ones questioning, well, besides Nomhle, but always like the ones like, you know, really engaging, being like, but why? Whereas we get these 3 boys that are just like, okay, whatever, but they also change as characters, if that makes sense. I can't reveal too much. That's the ish. I really cannot reveal too much, because it would be like, then if I say the whole story here, what's the point of people like attending the stage reading or wanting to read and engage with the play, right? So yeah, that's with the 3 boys. I mean, we have our mixed female character, right? So this one is a very interesting one, because at first, with my first draft, with my first draft, what I was trying to do with her is I was trying to make her symbolize culture and hair. So she's this mixed. I mean, her dad is a black Xhosa man, and then her mom is an African or white woman, right? So with the first draft, it was a kind of like a thing where people were arguing whether she's black, colored, or what. But I took that out because people are like, they're struggling to understand whether this is what's a culture thing or race thing, or is it a hair thing. You know, we know that hair and race exist within the same space, but they couldn't really figure out what it was. So I decided to remove the whole she mixed colored or black debate, and really wanted to center the debate about her hair type, right? So she's like 3B, she has a 3B hair type. And with this character, right, because majority of her friends, right, are black and not mixed, she's constantly trying to fit in with their struggles or relate to their struggles. So obviously 3B hair is different to 4C hair. Those two comes with like different hair experiences. But because she wants to feel black, she's constantly kind of like wants to fit in and relate, you know, to their struggles and being black. So with her character flaw, she doesn't actually embrace her own hair experience as a mixed, you know, woman. And I think with interviewing one of my lecturers at AFDA'S, she's like also mixed woman, and she speaks Xhosa, you know, so her mom is a Xhosa woman and her dad is an African man. It was such like a very interesting perspective that I believe is gonna help me so much with the character Tasha, the mixed character. And yeah, guys, I don't wanna speak too long about the story because I will end up just revealing so much. So in a nutshell, Wool and a Sponge stage play is about these six students with their own experiences of hair and how they actually debate and talk about the hair policies within their school based on the comment that the teacher made, and how the mother really struggles with this relationship of her child, of really trying to relive her hair journey through her. So yeah, guys, that is my hair concept. And so okay, so the event, what did I write here? So sorry, but the event is taking place at AFDA. I'll put the the address again. So my stage reading, as in it's a space where we all actually sit and read the play. It's happening on the 16th of June, Youth Day. Come support the youths. 16th of June at 1:20 p.m. All right. So if you're really interested in my concept and you want to attend the stage reading and give feedback based on, because I think everybody can give feedback based on what we read, you're very welcome to. Please send me an email. I'll also include my email on the link, or DM me, so I'll include my Instagram. But I really think email is better, so I'll put them both on the screen. With you basically be like, yeah girl, I want to come and read your stage play, and then I will respond to your email with specific directions. I think you can get to get to firstly AFDA. All right, but I think you can use GPS, to get to AFDA, and when you arrive at the institution, where to go or what to do. It's like for me to actually specifically direct you to where you'll find me, so you'll find someone who can take you to my stage reading, so you can really engage. Guys, remember, email or DM me if you wanna really spend time and read my concept and give me feedback based on your experience or what you think, whatever. And see you on the 16th of June, baby. Thank you all for watching. Just remember to subscribe, comment, and like for more.